Hey guys, so Lord here, back again with another review, and today we'll be taking a look at the McFarlane Toys Spawn Universe GameStop exclusive Gunslinger Spawn with horse. Now before we get into it here, let's first take a look-see at both the front and the back of the packaging. So without further ado, let's get into it. Now before we get into the meat and taters of this review, the Gunslinger does come with a pair of shooty bang bang pistols. We've seen these 3 times now, and in my opinion, they look good every time. Pew pew! That said, it should be worth noting that they can store in the holsters on his hips, but we will be doing that a little bit later just to save on time. Speaking of holsters, he also comes with the shotgun and its holster, which was first seen with the Target exclusive release of the Gunslinger. It of course has the strap that goes across his torso, so this can hang off his back. And last but certainly not least, as far as armaments are concerned, he does also come with the minigun, which was originally included with the second release of the Gunslinger, which was not exclusive to anybody, and is most likely the most common release of this figure. That said, the barrel doesn't turn, and in my opinion, this is a bit excessive, but still cool. Moving on from all the guns, I mean, Gunslinger's gotta have guns, right? The Gunslinger does have 2 things that the other Gunslinger figures don't have. The first of which, let's just address the elephant in the room, is this amazing horse. Now, I gotta tell you guys, being an avid collector of the Mythic Legions horses, I have pretty much all of them at this point, I do believe. I was really impressed with this horse. I gotta tell you, if you can't afford the Mythic Legions horses, this is not a bad option. It's especially cheaper, in this case, because you get this horse and a figure for $40, because I picked this up on sale. But I do believe that you can pick up the Roach horse from the Witcher series on discount for about $30 in several different places. So if you just want a McFarlane Toys horse and don't care about what it looks like, that's your best bet right now, because other than that, your only other option is the Mythic Legions horses, and those are a little bit pricey, at least for some people. So before we get into the meat and taters of this horse, let's just address Gunslinger Spawn for the 3rd time. I will leave a link in the description below to my first review of the Gunslinger Spawn, the Target exclusive version, just so we're not, beating a dead horse. See what I did there? But at any rate, this guy's got one thing going for him that the other 2 figures did not have, and that is a thigh cut right here below the holster. The other Gunslinger Spawns do not have this, and I gotta tell you, this comes in handy when trying to get him to sit on the horse. So if you want a Gunslinger Spawn to put on a horse, and you haven't already, tried to force a square peg through a round hole by sticking this guy on the Roach horse or something like that, definitely pick up this set. I think it's on sale on GameStop.com still, and for $40, $42, however much it was, you can't beat it. That said, we're just going to set this guy off to the side because we have already taken a look at him not once but twice. However, we have not looked at one of these horses, so bringing him a little closer here. Not sure what his name is, or her name, so we'll just call her Bessie for now. So, Bessie is super cool. She does have a little bit of articulation in the head here. Kind of sucks because the hair is glued both to the head and the neck, so you're not going to get a ton of range out of that, unfortunately, but you do get some. It's not terrible, but it's not, nothing like the Mythic Legions horses. You also get a little bit of a hinge here, which I'm not a fan of this. It's a ratcheted hinge joint, and it just goes up and down and looks kind of ugly when you use it, so I wouldn't advise using it at all. If there's one thing the Mythic Legions horses do better that I don't care for on these, is the neck joint and the joint in the tail, which is a ball hinge, I do believe. So you can articulate the crap out of this, but it's kind of loose. The Mythic Legions ones are a little tighter. You can actually pop this out too, by the way. But the thing I like a little bit more on the McFarlane horses here than I do compared to the Mythic Legion's horses is the leg joints. Listen to that. That's super tight ratchets right there, boy. I really dig that. No swivel up here, but it does have a swivel at the knee, and it does also hinge here. Nice tight ratchets. Not the tightest things ever. I mean, they don't need to be, you know, tight to the point where it feels like you're going to break it, but this definitely is tighter than the Mythic Legion's horses, and I do kind of prefer this. Well, maybe it's not tighter, but it definitely, I like posing this a little bit more than the Mythic Legion's horses. Now, I know you can heat those up and everything, but I don't want them to get loose. That said, it also has rotation here at the foot, as well as a hinge. And it also has rotation at the hoof, which is pretty cool. A little over-articulated, in my opinion, there. I don't think that's quite necessary, and I do believe the Mythic Legion's horses have better hoof setup than this, but this is not bad. You also get swivel back here. This is not ratcheted. A little bummed out by that, but it does lock into place if you move it forward enough. So that's kind of nice. It will stay. That said, you don't get anything here, but you do get a hinge down here, which is again ratcheted, and you do get a swivel down here, and you get the same articulation in the feet back here, as well as rotation. And then I do believe the hoof swivels back here. I can't tell though. It does on the front, maybe it doesn't on the back, but at any rate, it's plenty articulated for those of you guys who like to do posing and stuff like that. I think it's got enough going for it. Now, getting Gunslinger to sit on this is a little awkward because there is this little belt here, which I wouldn't be surprised if people just cut this off to make it a little easier to get them on there. It does have a tendency to get in the way sometimes, and it is kind of annoying, but not the worst thing ever. That said, I do wish his feet were a little tight in the stirrups here. They are kind of loose. That said, I may just be doing it wrong, and I need to put him in there a little bit more, fudge him in there a little bit more. But yeah, really cool figure. If anything, the horse is the star of the show here. You guys know I love the Gunslinger Spawn figure. He was an honorable mention on my top figures of 2021 video. So obviously he's no slouch. I will say the knees on him a little loose, but since he's going to be sitting on the horse, that's okay. I got one that can stand and walk around and I can play with outside of the horse, so it is what it is. It's good enough for me. If you want one with tight joints, you can always fix that yourself. It's nothing too crazy. You shouldn't have to do that, I know, but that's the name of the game nowadays. But at any rate, really cool set. I like this set. I think if you're going to get any Gunslinger, definitely get this one, because not only do you get the horse and the Gunslinger figure together, you get the shotgun with the holster, which was part of the Target exclusive bundle, which some people may or may not have. It's got the minigun, which some people may or may not have because they passed on the second release after getting the Target exclusive version. And then it also has the two pistols, which all of them do, but you get all four guns. You get the holster for the shotgun, you get the horse. You get a complete package here. So patience is a virtue. Yes, it is, but I'm a sucker for Spawn, and I literally bought all three versions of the Gunslinger, so sue me. That said, one thing to note, this guy does not have a hockey puck display stand. I checked the box, there was no hockey puck display stand, so not sure if I got ripped off or he just doesn't come with one. Not like he needs one, he's got a freaking horse, but just thought that was weird because, well, Cygor, who's permanently posed to be on all fours, came with one. Violator, who's massive as all get out, came with one. And the Spawn with the Throne came with one. So, I don't know what's up with that. But at any rate, with that being said, let's now move on and take a look at some comparisons. first up, here is the new GameStop exclusive version of Gunslinger Spawn, alongside the other versions of Gunslinger Spawn from the Spawn universe line. We of course have the Target exclusive version and the non-exclusive version, and I gotta tell you guys, 3 is definitely a crowd, because while I do really love the Spawn line, there's not enough different here that warrants me keeping all 3 of these guys, so at some point I'm gonna wind up letting one of them go. That said, I definitely wouldn't want to mess with these cowboys from hell. Next up, here is old Bessie, alongside the Figura Obscura Headless Horseman horse from the fine folks over at Four Horsemen Studios. Now, don't get it twisted, I do still love all of my Four Horsemen horses, but if I'm being 100% honest with you guys, I do prefer the engineering, on the legs at least, with these McFarlane horses. That said, as you can clearly tell, these are 2 different sized horses, so it all depends on what you need for your display. Personally, I think the Four Horsemen horses work better with larger figures, and the McFarlane horses work with smaller figures, so pick your poison, I guess. And last but certainly not least, we have our 2 regulars, the Mythic Legion's Brother Mandibulus, Limit Spawn, who's not towering over everyone today, because if you hadn't noticed, he's never towered over the Gunslinger Spawn, so why should he start now? It should also be worth mentioning that good old Al Simmons here is also not the same size as a horse. So with that being said, time to wrap things up with some final thoughts. Overall, and while I don't feel the need to explain to you guys how good this Gunslinger Spawn figure is, there will be a link in the description below, as promised, to the first review I did of good old Gunslinger here, for those of you who are curious. However, we do need to talk about this horse, because this is my first round with a McFarlane Toys horse. Even though there have been 3 horses made by this company, I do not have the Dark Knight Returns Collectabuild horse, and I do not have the Roach horse from the Witcher series. I only have this Gunslinger Spawn horse, and I gotta tell you guys, as much as I love my Mythic Legions horses, they're chunky, they're sturdy, they're awesome, I do prefer the way the legs are put together on this horse over the Mythic Legion's horse, particularly in the hip and knee area on both the front and back legs. Not so much the hooves and not so much the neck and head and tail, but as far as the bulk of the legs are concerned, I think I prefer the McFarlane horses over the Mythic Legion's one, which is probably a shocker to some of you, because again, the quality on the Mythic Legion's horses is bar none some of the best we've ever had as far as a 1/12 scale horse is concerned. But if you're looking for a cheaper, more affordable option for a horse for your 1/12 scale, or slightly larger, because this is made for 7-inch figures technically, collection, then look no further, because I do believe you can get the Roach horse from the Witcher series for about 30 bucks nowadays. And I gotta tell ya, after having one McFarlane Toys horse, I am not opposed to picking up a couple more. So with that being said, I hope you guys enjoyed this review. If you are so inclined, please don't forget to comment, like, subscribe, and hit the bell so you know whenever I upload more reviews like this one. If you haven't already, please hit me up on Instagram at Overlord Productions. But as always, keep the comments civil, because the world sucks enough as it is, especially when, how many Gunslinger spawns are we going to get in this line? Seriously. But until next time, I'll catch you guys later.